Hello, my name is Bernat Espigule. I'm consulting technologies for Wolfram. And today I'm going to explain how I've developed several websites that are called Wolfram Microsites using the Wolfram Cloud. Today I'm going to talk about my recent examples using the Wolfram Cloud. These are Wolfram Microsites. Most of them try to feature one of the core functions that we have. For example, Family Tour is featuring the form page with the travel directions and find shortest tour. There are 3 functions being featured in these websites. And then I'm going to talk as well about a project that is called a Hackathon Project Generator. It tries to combine ideas and actions, and it's providing you random ideas that you can do during a hackathon. Then I will show how I built a really simple system to maintain the Teach Wolfram Alpha Your Sense of Humor using 2 form pages and the data drop. So you can add new questions and remove old ones that you want to be displayed in that page. So if you know how to survive a zombie attack, I encourage you to go there and answer that. It's going to be useful. This kind of humor in the Wolfram Alpha. And finally, I'm going to provide an overview of a project that I'm currently doing, and that's the code cards gallery. You provide a name, a date, and then a location, and it's providing simple code cards with 2 lines of Wolfram language code, and it's being displayed using the Wolfram language, and each individual card has an API on it. First of all, I will start with a simple form function that was created for an exclusive screening that Wolfram was holding about the man who knew infinity. So I sent that form, and it's basically a form that sends some information of the attendees to Databin. And in this case, I used a delayed to display a really small counter. So you can see here that there are like 293 spots available. So I was asking for the first name, the last name, and then the number of guests that each attendee was bringing with him. And depending on if there was a spots available, then I was showing a response, a thank you message. But if it was full, then the user was receiving a waiting list response saying that if there is a space, then it's going to be sent. The good way that using Databin was what you can really format your information and structure it, so you get the final list of people. So it was a really simple form function. That's not actually a microsite. So here I'm going to explain the first one. It's Family Tour. So in this case, Family Tour, you can introduce several cities that you want to visit. So let's say you want to go also to LA, and then you wait a while, and then you get travel directions to visit all these cities. So first of all, it's using find shortest tour, and then tries to look at travel directions. And if there are travel directions for these particular cities, it displays the tour. If there are not, if the travel directions fails, it means that you have to take a plane. Then it displays the simple geolist plot of that locations. Actually, just adding some like backgrounds and styles, it just added a bit of more lines of code. But the core functionality of how it works is just a simple form page where you have like the repeating elements that you can introduce more cities if the user wants to. Here you specify the initial that you want 3 cities at least, and then the total can be up to 10 cities at this time. Because sometimes you want to display the point, but yeah. just a stupid thing, but yeah. So that's the simple example. So what was in the real form page is, in this case, I'm using the large cities of Canada to show the example. I'm taking the coordinates, the geopositions of them, then looking at the find shortest tour. That's giving me the right ordering of these cities to visit. And then you get the geolist plot of that. If you ask for the travel directions, it's going to find all the directions there. There sometimes you have to take a ferry. But in this case, it worked well. And if it fails, then I'm adding a conditional to return just the simple path, in this case, the geolist plot. So that's the main construction of this microsite. Let's move to the project generator. The big challenge of this project was to collect a good enough list of do's and list of things. So you can get a nice matching of them. So you have all the pairs combining all these two lists. And for each one of the ideas and do's, I had an association with them with related documentation pages and functions, and then also blog posts that are related and can be useful for that particular project. So when you combine them, you end up with a spinner, and then you get these different sections with the relevant functions for the particular project and the different related resources that you can take a look. The spinner effect was done with the Wolfram language. It's just a simple GIF animation. And it's just using the blur filter, processing the images, and looks like an effect. That's a slot machine combining ideas and actions. Then there are some functions just to match and take everything and add these snippets of code as HTML using the Bootstrap classes just to look nice. But that's a separate question. So this is actually an API. So this API had the whole 700 ideas there. So each one is numbered. And if the user is introducing one, for example, 0 or like 900, then I'm just going to redirect them to the full list. So I'm looking for the limitation there in ideas. So it's just an API that refreshes every time someone is visiting it. And yeah, let's move to the other one. In that case is the Teach Wolfram Alpha, your sense of humor. It was an idea to add more. The Wolfram Alpha team is seeing a lot of questions being sent by users that are not possible to do it right now, to answer them. But with this project, probably they're going to be possible to answer funny questions that people are sending to Wolfram Alpha. And I want to say that it's a really basic thing that I did to construct it. The backend is just working with 3 data bins, one for the questions, the other one for answers, and another one for which of these questions have to be hidden. So I created a form page to add new questions for the system administrator. In this case, for example, we can add the questions, how I do zombie attack. You can add more if you want. And then you submit there, and this form page is going to be redirecting you to the other form page that's a way to hide or unhide the questions. So I'm getting to this one. I have currently 4 questions. I'm displaying all of them. So I submit them, and that's generating updating the website, and it's adding the question I just added right there. So the user can enter the answer and all the information that he wants. So it's a really simple way to maintain it, and it just works with these 3 simple things. I also added an API to send an email saying thank you for submitting your question. And it's also inside the final page. That's only the HTML template I was using. But I'm not going to go through it. Yeah, that's the questions. So, for example, I can say that I don't want these 2. Go here, and then you get only 2 questions. Oops. I have to check that. I mean, I just built up this site just for my account. Yeah. I was not cloud connected in this times. Well, it's yeah. So the final microsite is the one that I'm still working on it, and Brady is also helping me. He's here, and is basically these code cards. And each one of these code cards is an API that's generating a vector graphics. And it consists basically with the input, that's the Wolfram language code that's going to be displayed, and an output cell. And here is just an example how it looks like right now. And these individual APIs are what's going to be shown in the final gallery. Here, if you add a different name, say Bernat, it's going to interpret it as a given name, and then it's going to take the real word and look at the dictionary, look up, and then it's saying these words are quite similar, and then it's generating the clustering tree in this layout. So let me show you the final page. That it's right now it's working like that. Have several workouts. Like, for example, this one is looking at all the cities of the US, and then finding the ones that are named like yours. In this case, the one that's provided. So you can go here and introduce different information, and you're going to get different code cards. So I'm giving you a list of resources. I hope you are going to find these microsites useful for your own projects, and you're going to be deploying websites to the Wolfram Cloud. Here there is a full list of functionalities that's really interesting to use, and there are new ones that, for example, Carlo and his team is building. So we are seeing a lot of progress, and there are more different functions that you can use to deploy all sorts of websites. I'm also providing how it works for these microsites, and there are a few that I have not mentioned, but because I was not really involved with them. Jeremy Davis is the one who styled them in a really nice way, and if you have questions about the final things, that you can ask him. But the way it's explained, it's quite good. I mean, you can go there and see how it was deployed, or the core idea was done. Yeah. Then I also encourage you to go to the Wolfram community. There are also other users deploying microsites and giving examples. So I would like to finish here, and if you have questions, I'm here to answer some questions. Thank you.